Hello everyone, welcome to our class. Here we are discussing the chapter Human Health and Diseases. In previous session we discussed different types of microorganism and the diseases caused by the microorganism. Okay, bacterial disease, viral disease, fungal disease. Then the last one we discussed, that is Helminth disease. How can we control or prevent from these diseases? Control of many infectious diseases requires proper maintenance of personal and public hygiene. Okay, both are required. Maintenance of personal and public hygiene. Keeping the body clean, consumption of clean drinking water, food, etc. are the measures for maintaining personal hygiene. Public hygiene, which include proper disposal of waste, periodic cleaning and disinfection of water bodies, then observing standard practices of hygiene in public catering, etc. Especially important for preventing diseases spread through contaminated water and food. Then avoid close contact with infected person is essential to prevent the spread of airborne diseases. Airborne diseases means the diseases which are spread through the air. To control the diseases that are transmitted through the insect, vectors, elimination of vectors is and their breeding places is required. Elimination of vectors. Okay, so in different cases, mosquito is a vector. So we have to destroy the breeding places of mosquito. Introducing the fishes like Gambusia, which feed on mosquito larvae in ponds. Using insecticide or mosquito net, etc. All these we can achieve or destroy the breeding places of mosquito. Precautions against mosquito bite is more important, especially to prevent outspread of dengue fever and chikungunya. Dengue fever is known as break-bone disease. Okay, so a person who suffers from this dengue fever may have to suffer joint pains. The use of vaccines and immunization programs have enabled to eradicate various deadly diseases. Biotechnology is at the verge of making available newer and safer vaccines. Okay, day by day the scientists are working to find out the vaccines for corona. So, this type of infectious diseases spread from one person to another. So, we have to avoid the direct contact or avoid the close contact with the infected persons. Then, we discussed the term Aedes, Aedes aegypti. Okay. On that way, another scientific name is Aedes albopictus. Aedes albopictus, which spreads yellow fever, and also dengue fever. Aedes aegypti is the vector of chikungunya. Okay, so all these are about the control and prevention of diseases. The next topic that we are discussing, that is immune system in the body. When a mosquito bites in your body, the body parts start to swell. The swelling is a sign of our immune system. That means our body is working properly. Our immune system comprises lymphoid organs, tissues, cells, and soluble molecules like antibodies. Okay, so our immune system comprises lymphoid organs, tissues, cells, and soluble molecules like antibodies. Immune system is unique because it can recognize foreign bodies, respond to them, and memorize them. Okay, that's why we are telling, if one time you have this chicken pox, the next time there is less chance for getting the chicken pox. That means that our immune system is unique and it can recognize foreign bodies and respond to them and memorize them. Immune system also plays a great role in allergic reactions, autoimmune disease and organ transplantation. So here we are discussing in this chapter, in this portion we are discussing about immune system and how they are working. First of all, we are discussing the lymphoid organs. Lymphoid organs. The formation and maturation of lymphocytes occur in lymphoid organs. Lymphocytes means, what are lymphocytes? Lymphocytes. Okay. The formation and maturation of lymphocytes. RBC, another name of RBC, that is RBC, erythrocytes. Okay. Then the next one is WBC. Says WBC is different types. Eosinophil, neutrophil, basophil, monocytes and lymphocyte. Okay, a type of WBC is lymphocytes. The lymphocytes are formed in the lymphoid organ. Lymphocytes formed in the lymphoid organ. Bone marrow and the thymus are the primary lymphoid organs. So lymphoid organs are two types. Primary lymphoid organs and the secondary lymphoid organs. Here I am written, you can see primary lymphoid organs and the secondary lymphoid organs. Primary lymphoid organ, it includes bone marrow and the thymus. So the lymphocyte which formed from the bone marrow, that is known as B lymphocyte. And the lymphocyte which formed from the thymus, that is known as T lymphocyte. Capital letter B and T is using for writing the lymphocyte. So lymphoid organs are two types, primary and the secondary. Primary means it consists bone marrow and the thymus. The lymphocyte which formed from the bone marrow, that is known as B lymphocyte, and formed from the thymus, it is known as T lymphocytes. Okay. After maturation, the lymphocytes migrate to the secondary lymphoid organs. So, in the primary, from this primary, the lymphocytes are generate or produces. When they are attain maturity, they move to the secondary lymphoid organs. Secondary lymphoid organs include spleen, lymph nodes and malt. Then tonsils, Peyer's patches of small intestine, that also an example for this secondary lymphoid organs. What are the examples? Spleen, lymph nodes, malt. Then Peyer's patches of intestine. All these are the examples of secondary lymphoid organs. Secondary lymphoid organs are the sites for interaction of lymphocytes with antigen. Okay. Antigen means the foreign substance. The substance which are new to our body. That is known as foreign substance. Okay. So, the direct communication takes place between the secondary lymphoid organs and the antigen. The secondary lymphoid organs are the sites for the interaction of lymphocytes with antigen. Secondary lymphoid organs are the sites for the interaction of lymphocytes with antigen. I hope all you are clear with these points. So lymphoid organs are two types, primary and secondary. Primary means bone marrow and thymus. The lymphocytes which originate from the bone marrow, that is known as B lymphocyte, and which originate from the T thymus, it is known as T lymphocyte. Then the secondary means on maturation, the B and T lymphocytes are stored in different areas. Spleen, lymph nodes, malt, etc. Okay. Then the primary, the main attack of the interaction of the antigens will take place in this secondary lymphoid organs. Okay. Next we are discussing the structure of this primary lymphoid organs. Primary lymphoid organs include bone marrow. So bone marrow, from this bone marrow this RBC is forming. Okay. Lymphocytes and other blood cells are produced in the bone marrow, lymphocytes and the other blood cells. The portion which is seen inside the bone, that is known as bone marrow. The lymphocytes and other blood cells are produced in the bone marrow. It is also the site for development and maturation of the B lymphocyte. B cells produce antibodies. B cells produce antibodies. Then next about thymus. We studied the structure of thymus in a hormone chapter in +1. It is a bilobed structure located beneath the sternum near the heart. It is a bilobed structure located beneath the sternum near the heart. It is quite large at the time of birth. However, it undergoes progressive degradation with age. Okay, at the time of puberty, it reduces to a very small size. Maturation of T lymphocytes. Thymus produces T lymphocytes. Maturation of T lymphocytes takes place in the thymus. Okay, so the T cells provide cellular immunity. B cells provide antibodies, or B cells produce antibodies. So B cells producing antibody related immunity. B cells producing antibodies related immunity. And the T cells providing cell mediated immunity. T cells providing cellular immunity. Cellular immunity means cell mediated immunity. The thymus gland produces an hormone that is known as thymosin. Okay. Youth hormone, another name of thymosin, that is youth